gonna hit start recording as well. I want to do both. Oh, it did not like that start recording button. Holy crapola. Wait, is Discord shiitake? Okay, that's fine. Wow, I didn't like that recording button. Holy crapola. Okay, I'm gonna make these a little smaller now. Okay, there we go. Make my Discord window fit. Sorry, I put the essay on the main screen. So, well, the main screen is supposed to be just showing that window, so hopefully it didn't show my goddamn Discord. This kind of defeats the purpose. Okay, let's see here. Alrighty. Okay, so, people are dumb, and I'm here today because people are dumb. And if you can't tell by my voice, I have not been feeling good for a while. But here I am. And I just am ready to throw hands. But, until we get into that, I'm going to spread the link around, spread the love around, if you would. We're going in on this. I'm probably gonna put some Professor Layton music in the background, actually. I can't believe I almost forgot to do that. Thank you, YouTube Recommended, for reminding me that I always put freaking Professor Layton music in the background. How dare I forget to put Professor Layton music in the background. We about to fight, though. I am about to fight some people. And I will only fight people, though, who come in here and request a fight with me about this, because I am so sick and goddamn tired of people talking like they know what they're talking about without actually going to a primary source. And so now we have this freaking insanely aggravating and annoying case of internet telephone that has been going on for so long. And I used to blame TV tropes, and like, I need to apologize to TV tropes, because when you read TV tropes, it's like, their summary makes sense, right, for what Death of the Author actually is. At least the last time I checked, which admittedly was like in 2015. Maybe I should check that. Maybe that should be one of the first things we do here, is I check that. So, I'm probably gonna do that. Or I might just jump into it. But right now I'm grabbing this link and spreading it around so we can get some people. We're gonna talk about Death of the Author because I'm tired of internet telephone being dumb. So hello, Daisy Vam. I really hope I'm pronouncing that right. I apologize if I'm not. I am so frustrated with people who, like, the thing is that people who I see as, like, very intelligent, people whose video essays I watch a lot. Lindsay Ellis comes to mind specifically. People I respect still also get the concept of Death of the Author wrong. Like, I couldn't, admittedly with Lindsay Ellis's case, her first two videos, like, or her videos about J.K. Rowling, I never finished watching because I tried so hard to give her the benefit of the doubt but it's like, I can only stand for so long. I feel like there was a comment she had in one of them that was like, actually, this isn't really Death of the Author, but even then, it's like, then just use divorcing the author. You know, so that, you know, like, but it's not like the end of the world. I'm not trying to cancel her over it. That's stupid. I'm annoyed, and I wish people would double check their sources, and I feel like people like Lindsay Ellis would, like, do a lot of good for the, like, video essayists out here, like myself, if they would just, people who want to, like, critically analyze things that often get shoved aside in the literary world as popcorn stuff, you know, like popcorn movies and books and TV shows, you know, like the people who don't respect it, like myself with cartoons or anime, or people who really like comics and stuff. And I feel like that we should respect ourselves better than to just go around saying terms that we heard from somebody without double checking their meaning and looking at the source of them. Because the amount of people out there, and I was starting to, like, freaking feel like I was wrong. I was starting to feel like I was somehow, like, misunderstanding this thing that I have been preaching for so long. And I was, like, actually willing to believe that. I can't hear myself think over this music, and that's the freaking point of the music. And, I'll turn up desktop audio now. But, anyways, like, I just... just drives me nuts. Honestly, I should put, like, copyright-free study music instead, but, like, video game music is safe, usually. I'm still trying to, like, get set up here, passing this around. Hi, Lurker, what's up? What's up is, I'm tired of people not actually understanding Death of the Author, because I really was starting to think that maybe I was wrong about it. Like, maybe I somehow got mixed up and got the wrong idea, which is possible. Very possible. But, like, then the beautiful, amazing, wonderful Brandon Sanderson came out with a video, or has a video, where he talks about Death of the Author with his, like, partner in crime over there on his podcast. Or not podcast, his video. I don't know, man. You have to ask Rita about the specifics of that. I don't binge his content that often. That's her. But, like, I freaking, oh man, he came out with a video and he explained that, yeah, Death of the Author is different from divorcing the author, and they talked about it as what it is, which is a theory, which is a philosophy when it comes to literary analysis. And they talked about it with a really good understanding of here's the pros and here's the cons, here's where I would ascribe to it and here's where I wouldn't. And it was such a wonderful breath of fresh air. And I'm like, I'm not crazy. You know, like, when you read and this is coming from someone who also I'm pretty sure he said he straight up didn't read the essay, or at the very least it'd been a long time. So anyways, we are going to read the Death of the Author essay. And I'm going to read it on stream. That's the intro. I hope you guys are still there, those of y'all who were chatting. I am going to attempt to be, I'm going to be paying attention to the chat, because I want this to be a conversation. So I'm going to be looking at the chat, I'm going to be watching it, I'm going to be, I'm also going to have my Tumblr open, because Tumblr, the website, has this, which is linked in my description. Tumblr has this wonderful, amazing feature known as Anonymous Asking, and Anon is on for me. So you can send me an anonymous message if you really, really hate what I'm saying, you know, or you just want to state your opinion on something, but you don't want people to be able to connect it to you. You can send it to my Tumblr on Anon, you know, because I want this to be a full conversation. And I know I did this sort of last minute or whatever. I'm not really expecting a whole lot of people, as you can see, I think. No, yeah. Which, this is supposed to... No, it's straight up just showing my display, isn't it? Even though I straight up have a freaking window. No, it's supposed to just be showing the Chrome window. What's going on? Oh, I know what's going on here. I know what's happening here. Great. It doesn't fit. Whatever. That's actually... I should have known that it didn't work like Discord's, and I should have double-checked it. Oh well, there we go. The link to the PDF I'm using is also in the description, by the way. There, that should be better. But yeah, I don't want people to feel like they can't, like, say what they mean about, or say what they want to say in this conversation. I don't want people to feel scared to say their opinion because they're worried it's going to come back, or they're going to word something wrong, or even if they feel like they have a really unpopular opinion, but they want to throw it out there, or they feel like they have an opinion that their friends aren't going to like, you know? So we have Tumblr for that. We have the Anonymous. Okay, so now I'm going to be posting this. I'm not streaming game, but I'm going to Control-V. I've hit a breaking point in doing a live stream talking about during the live stream, really breaking down Death of the Author. Can I spell words correctly? The more people and the more discussion, the better here. We're gonna go with that. Yeah. And I'm just like... Okay, let me see if there is a channel that I can promote this here. Promos? Hold on, I need to look in this channel's like rules for their, or this server's rules for using the promotion channel. General server etiquette. I don't know, it's confusing. Yeah, I think from the looks of it, I can, yeah, okay. I'm gonna put it here. At my breaking point, I am doing a live stream really breaking down Death of the Author. The more people and the more discussion, the better here. Okay, I'm putting that there. If they want me to take it down, I will. We're going over here. We're going to my main server, my fan server, as I call it. And I'm adding everyone. Actually adding everyone, not adding that old friend from high school. 47 plus people. Ooh, we've lost some people. That's fair. That server is dead because I got tired of always like coming in saying, hey, what's up, guys? Anyways, I'm still, yeah, spelling words and puns. I'm still like spreading around, but once I get comfy with, what we got going here, once I feel comfy, with like, you know, I've promoted it the best I can, and I've given people time from the places I promoted it at to come in, and I feel comfy with like the discussion or whatever, the activeness of the chat, I'll get started. For right now, I'm still promoting around because I don't know how to promote my live stream before I stream or before I hit go live, except for if I'm scheduled the stream, and I am too impulsive to be able to do that in a meaningful way that like matters. And like I said, my voice is out there, it is gone. Lately it is like really scratchy and stuff. But you know, it just kind of be like that. So I'm putting this in however many servers I can, and then I'm gonna put it on my social media stuff. Creators Corner? No. Y'all confusing. Not sure where else to put this, so I'm gonna drop it here, because this is a mostly kind of private server. So I'm not worried about the rules of putting things in the exact right spot. Okay. I am like actually about to fight people, y'all. I am like actually about to fucking fight. I am like pissy. I am mad. I am frustrated, and I am done with people. Okay? I am like, thank you, Daisy. Daisy, I really hope I'm saying that right. You are so nice. Thank you for being so patient. I'm almost done here. I'm about to post it on my Twitter, and then I'm gonna, is that, okay, cool. Death of the Author. The more people and the more discussion, the better here. So sick of people misrepresenting what Death of the Author is. Okay. So I do have my Twitter open as well. Oh, I hate this website. I see something trending and I want to look at it. How am I not following my good friend Doodlebat on Twitter? Illegal. I hate this website. It has me in a death grip. Oh, holy fucking shit. Okay. Also, like, y'all, how come I don't have, like, any, Tumblr check marks? I am actually offended. What is my... I thought I had a fan community. I have 1,000 plus... I have 1,000 plus followers on Tumblr, and you all are hate following me on there, I swear, because ain't nobody giving me the blue check mark. Unless there's something I'm doing wrong, in which case, my bad. I'm going to put this as a link. I'm going to actually put this as a link. Which, come on, just give me the link, dum-dum. I want the link there. Yeah, not a complete link, because it's like, ugh. Tumblr, you are a broken AF website, and I love you. I just want to be able to copy-paste, my little copy-pasted message that I've posted, like, everywhere. That's all I want. No, you know? I want to be able to copy-paste my copy-paste message. Trust me, guys, I am, like, seething right now. This is gonna get talked about! We're going here! Why is she... Oh my god. Okay. Okay. So there's my copy-paste message that I've been doing. And I'm gonna grab the link part from that message. There we go! We did it. Okay, we are doing... What are our tags, guys? What are our tags on Tumblr.com, fam? It's okay, you're saying it right. Don't worry, you're actually doing better than most people in my life. They send home from an R and say Darcy. My cat is named, one of my cats is named Darcy, as per my mom. Check mark on Twitter or Tumblr, because Twitter is... No, Tumblr is, like, out of spite. Like, this is beautiful, right? Because Tumblr, out of spite, has put up a, like, you can select a blog and buy a Tumblr blue checkmark for $7.99, which is, you know, cheaper than some other websites. And then they have a thing that says, this is not a verification system, and this literally means nothing. And people are doing it, and they are giving it to other blogs. So there are blogs on Tumblr who have, like, 5 check marks. That was beautiful. It's beautiful. That's what I want. At least that's my understanding. It could be that Tumblr is just literally just fucking around and giving random people a bunch of check marks. But I can't help but feel like, no, they actually are, like, yeah. Wait, no. We're gonna put the literary criticism. Yeah. Analysis. So I'm going to... I am... Hold on. The death of the author. Bars. I am going to do this really cool thing, known as come up with a thesis statement here to tell people as they come in. Which is death of the author, contrary to popular belief, and despite the internet insisting otherwise, is not the same as divorcing the author. And we need to get that straight. Because I refuse. I absolutely refuse. We have the term divorcing the author. Use that! Stop using death of the author as if it's divorcing the author. And also, learn what it means to have an interpretation. Stop saying that an interpretation is a canon. Like, and like, the way... I'll get into it. I will get into it, because I'm about to fight! I've been doing this one voice, like, so much lately, specifically today, because it was, like, making my mom laugh, and she really needed it, and I was saying a lot of stupid shit with it, and yeah, here we are. Divorcing the live stream Keda. Analysis. Okay, there we go. We're gonna go with that. Okay, post now for everyone. Oh yay, it's posted. Good for you. Okay, cool. I really am actually going to fight some people. I am just actually gonna fight some bitches. We gonna fight. Yeah, I've been posting a link to the live stream like everywhere. That's what I'm doing. That was the I posted it on Twitter, I posted it on Tumblr, and I posted it on a bunch of Discords. So, it looks like it's you and me, Daisy, for now. I am gonna, like, still kinda keep an eye out. I see that my sister is ish online. I'm probably just gonna straight up DM her outright and say yo, because I know this is something that she really wants to be able to talk about too. Hey, yo. I'm doing a live stream of Death of the Author, and I straight up have a Google Chrome window of the PDF of the essay pulled up. Be going through the essay and discussing as we go through. As we go through it on straight. Boop. I'm doing a live stream on Death of the Author and I straight up Google Chrome window. Let's see what I'm gonna go. Stream. Just DMing. This is a topic you're with me on. So no pressure to hang around. Okay. Cool. I think, as of right now, I think that's it. I love how I don't think it's her, but I love how, like, I post the link, I, like, DM it to my sis, and now we have one more viewer on here. Okay. We're doing this, fam. We are absolutely actually doing this. I'm just gonna keep stalling a little bit longer here. I'm actually kind of scared about having the Professor Layton music on, actually, honestly, because, like, I don't know, I kind of feel like I'm gonna want this, stream to stay. I don't know, maybe. Either I want it to stay, or I'm gonna get in a fight with somebody and we're gonna cut it off. But, as of right now, no plans to add anyone to VC. Like, if somebody asks me specifically, and, like, DMs me, maybe, but, like, right now there is no plans. This is not a chill hangout stream. This is a literary criticism, get y'all shit in order stream. A mad stream. I'm like, oh my god, I'm so... Because the thing that makes me frustrated, the reason why I'm frustrated is because there's discourse happening in a fandom that I didn't expect to see this specific discourse in, even though I was, like, seeing it come up. And this discourse is completely centered around the idea of people who are searching for the correct answer to how things are in a story, and it's like it's a lot of discourse that wouldn't happen if people understood and respected the ideology of Death of the Author. And that's what's frustrating, is it's like there's so many people that I respect, and some, like Lindsay Ellis and, like, other video essayists. I think Sarah Zed one time gave a wrong description of Death of the Author. I don't know. She's just the one that comes to mind, and I keep throwing Lindsay under the bus, but honestly, she is one of the better, like, video essayists, and I miss her. I might get a subscription to Nebula, honestly. But no, like, she was somebody, the whole point is that that's somebody who's, I respect, right, a lot on her opinions on things. Even when I disagree, I respect that she's coming from a place where she does a lot of research into her topics and she really understands literary criticism. And then she went and talked about death of the author and about how people hate JKR, and I'm just like, stop! That's not it. And I was like, I felt like I was going insane. I really felt like I was going insane, and that, like, maybe I'm the one who misunderstood. And I reread the essay, and then I went, no, I didn't misunderstand. But then how come, what am I getting wrong here? What is wrong with my brain that I'm not getting what everyone else seems to be getting? And then Brandon Sanderson and his friend, whose name I forget because I don't binge those videos, did a video on Death of the Author, and I just was, like, crying in the club, and I was like, oh my god, I love my hero. Thank you. My hero of academia. Okay. Alright, we're chill. We are chill. I'm just here to listen. Okay, cool. I'm pulling up, let's copyright free study music. Let's just do that, because we need some, as much as I love Professor Layton for this, like, honestly, I don't want to get hit with copyright, even though it's like, you know, it's a video game, and video games are like the safest thing for copyright. Okay. Alright. So we're here. This is the state that we are in. This is the I know it's been a while. Can you hear my voice? I've been so busy, and I just, like, it's been chaotic. I'm gonna be doing this voice a lot. This is my sarcastic voice. I actually know what Death of the Author means. It means you hate them on a deep personal level. Like, nah. Anyways, I was doing that voice a lot earlier, and I think it completely wrecked me for the rest of the night, because I was doing it a lot for my mom, because it was making her laugh. But yeah, also because I have, in fact, been, like, working a lot, and I haven't really had any topics or anything that I've been wanting to stream. I've been really active in fandom servers lately, chatting in here. I'm actually, speaking of, I'm gonna poke some of the friends that I've met in these fandom servers. I'm gonna, not you, I'm going to find the wonderful and beautiful, where my bitches at? Why can't I? Oh, I'm literally on them. I'm live streaming on the analysis channel about Death of the Author. Legit gonna read through and discuss as I read through it. Just FYI, that is a thing that is currently happening. So yeah, I'm gonna do a few last minute, like, DMing some friends real quick, and then I'm gonna get started in reading the goddamn essay, right? Because I really do want this, like, chat to be, like, you know, active discussion, you know? Yeah, I want this chat to be, like, active, discussion. But it's okay if it's not, because I know it's, like, a last minute, well, so Dragon Ball's been on my butt about this for a long time, but specifically I'm mad at, like, general fandom in general, honestly. But if we want to get super specific, there's some current discourse in the, like, Monkey Kid fandom of all freaking places, and the fact that it's happening there is, like, really aggravating. But, like, if you want to get super specific, that's yeah. That's the real mess of where this is coming from. But that's the thing that, like, finally was the straw that to break the camel's back. There were so many things building up. Like, this was going to happen sooner rather than later. And I had, you know, I was planning on doing a full video on Death of the Author. There was one point I did a recording with Xeon, very, very good friend of mine, of us going back and forth, but that recording was, like, not that great. Oh yeah, the Monkey Kid fandom has... they're better than this. That's part of what was so frustrating, is they're better than this. They really are. You can see it in my video about Monkey Kid that I say, like, and I say it in my video about, like, Sun Wukong, like, not being a father figure for MK, and, like, how I found it kind of weird and low-key kind of squicky that people really jump to that being a canon fact. And it's like, you can see that, like, I actually respect how they approach, or how they are able to analyze characters and, like, debate back and forth about character intent, except for Twitter. It's really specifically LMK Twit. LMK Twitter, like, actually drives me up a wall a lot of the time. They're so hot and cold, and like 90%, and I would say about 83, 82, I would say about 82.5% of the time it's like very cold, of like really aggravating how like these are the facts they are. And so much in general, a lot of fandom discourse that I see go down that has to do with headcanons and interpretations and fanins, and it could all be solved if people understood and respected Death of the Author. I mean, that's fine, but you can sit here and listen too. You don't have to be, you yourself individually don't have to be super involved in the discussion. Yeah, like, you don't have to be you yourself personally don't have to be involved. I'm just saying, like, that's why it's taking so long for me to get this going, is because I am trying to wait and give some people time to see, because this was a very last minute decision to do this. Anyways, I think that's about it. So I'm gonna get started. So for context, ooh, I actually don't know when Death of the Author was written. Let's go back up here. This is from like some college course, some college out there, university, posted this publicly and was like, hey, you know, here it is. It's really for their students who are taking this course to be able to download and print out a copy. So I'm not going to download it and print out a copy. But it's here now. You know, it's here, so I'm reading it. Anyways, I'm trying to find... yeah, 1977. Yeah, so yeah, 1977, that sounds right, I think. Death of the Author, written by Roland Barthes. Roland Barthes being, my freaking... I swear this dude was me from another timeline. Or like my past life or some BS like that, I don't know. He's really cool. And I am basing this solely on this singular... I'm basing it slowly on this singular essay, and also the fact that, like, he's apparently the one who coined the terms readerly versus, writerly or authorly. But that's a whole other can of worms for another day. That comes into the concept of when people, like, dismiss popcorn movies. And I like the terms readerly and authorly as opposed to, the popcorn movie, because it's like saying it's a popcorn book, it's a popcorn movie or whatever, is like super disrespectful to the art form in and of itself of those things and of their target audience. But that's a whole other can of worms. So the Death of the Author came out, for a little bit of context to my understanding of the context of the literary criticism scene at the time, which, keep in mind, criticism doesn't mean saying bad things. Criticism means like breaking it down. In this case, this meaning of criticism means really getting into the meat and the heart of whatever you're reading or looking at and breaking it down. That's literary critique. Okay? Breaking down how and why it works and where it does work, where it does, or not even just works, quote unquote, but like what it's doing and how it's doing it. You know, I think that's the best way to explain, like, that's what critique is. And so this essay came out in a time where literary critique was like just overrun with people being like super focused on studying the authors of stories more than they studied the actual people, like more than they studied the actual stories. Like the stories took a back seat to understanding the authors and where they came from and their background and stuff. And so this essay was written by a homeboy who got fed up with that. He pulled a me and said, F you, I'm putting a fucking massive generalized call out on my tumblr.com. Here we at the death of the author. So let's get started reading this and talk about it, because I genuinely feel like this needs to get brought up a lot. And there's like a lot of bad English classes out there that are really pushing this idea of having the correct answer to something as opposed to like actually analyzing the story as an art form. That's what it is. People are taking the art out of the stories that they're looking at when they try to say what is and isn't like the correct interpretation of something. And maybe, but depending on how I'm feeling after this, maybe I'll pull up the Brandon Sanderson video and we'll discuss some things from there. I don't think I'm going to do that, but I might. So, the death of the author, right? Like I said, I'm going to have my Tumblr open. If somebody sends me an anonymous ask, I'll be able to see it if you want to send something on Anon. If you start yelling at me on Twitter or trying to call me out or whatever for something I say, I'm probably going to ignore you. Not really here for it. Oh, I love learning that there's actually a thing happening in, like, freaking Splatoon right now. Anyways. So, here we go. The death of the author. In his story... Fuck me. Okay, full disclosure! I don't know how to read some of these, like, a lot of these names and out loud. Okay, so remember the point of view of who is talking about this, right? This is an actual nonfiction essay written by Roland Barthes in 1977 about how he's fed up with how people are approaching literary analysis. And this is the essay that coined the term. That's the thing a lot of people don't realize. He didn't make this essay because he was hearing the term and he didn't feel like people were respecting it. No, he wrote this essay and people listened and took the term and said, this is a philosophy that is respected among literary critics. Alright? And then frickin' the internet had to come out and confuse it with divorcing the author, which divorcing the author is where you go, I'm gonna take half your shit, which is the stuff I want, and leave you behind and all your negative stuff that I don't like behind. That's divorce. That's divorcing the author. Death of the author is not that. It has nothing to do with your personal feelings towards the author. Anyways. Death of the author. In his stories, describing a castrato disguised as a woman. So for, okay, so right off the bat, I'm going to go ahead and give some musical context here. A castrato, I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. It's the word for, male singers who, were castrated. So, they were castrated so that they would, like, they'd be able to keep their, like, high-pitched, like, the boy voice, you know, as an adult. They were, because, you know, women just really, at the time of castratos, women could not be professional singers. How freaking dare you, you know? I mean, like, that's not even true, but you know what I mean. Y'all know what I'm getting at here. People wanted to be able to keep their boy voice or whatever, and so they castrated them, so that would happen, right? That's a castrato. So, in his story, describing his, I'm gonna say SB, in his story, oh wait, no, in his story, S, that's the name of the story, I think, B, describing a castrato disguised as a woman, writes the following sentence. This was woman herself, with her sudden fears, her irrational whims, her instinctive worries, her impetuous boldness, her fussings, and her delicious sensibility. Who is speaking thus? Is it the hero of the story bent on remaining ignorant of the castrato hidden beneath the woman? Is it, I don't know how to pronounce that, and I feel like the way I want to pronounce it is going to turn us... Okay, let's all just giggle. Balzac, right? Haha, get your giggles out, we're adults. Anyways, is it Balzac, the individual, furnished by his personal experience with the philosophy of woman? Is it, Balzac... God, the author professing literary ideas on femininity? Is it universal wisdom? Romantic psychology? We shall never know, for the good reason that writing is the destruction of every voice, of every point of origin. So what he's saying is the fact that we don't know where that line was coming from and the intended meaning and context of that line. Like, the fact that we don't know who was supposed to be saying that, therefore we don't know what it was supposed to represent, is good. We don't know, and that's a good thing. Writing is that neutral, composite, oblique space. I am gonna embarrass myself with these words, I promise. Where our subject slips away, the negative where all identity is lost, starting with the very identity of the body writing. No doubt it has always been that way. As soon as a fact is narrated, no longer with a view to acting directly on reality, but intransitive. Yo, I stumble on my words all the time anyways, god dang. That is to say, finally outside of any function other than that of the very practice of the symbol itself, this disconnection occurs. The voice loses its origin. The author enters into his own death. Writing begins. Ooh, I got an anonymous. I believe the English version of the show was a dub. I doubt it's a good space for textual analysis, much less facts. Okay, so I got an anonymous here. Considering LMK Twitter for months argued and believed that the English version of the show was a dub, I doubt it's a good space for textual analysis, much less facts. Yeah, there's a lot of things in there that it's like, when I say I usually appreciate LMK Twitter's, like, approach to analysis, what I really mean is, like, how they're able to look at individual characters and open their mind and, for the most part, respect people who, like, have differing, like, opinions and lines that are crossed for when a character is being a good person or a bad person or a character's intentions. Most people are, like, very open to it. They're not like the Dragon Ball fandom. Whereas the Dragon Ball fandom was like, no, you're wrong and you're stupid when it came to freaking everything. But, Anon, you kind of are right that LMK Twit absolutely has an issue of, and just the LMK fandom in general, honestly. Mostly the kids. But, like, they have a bad problem of, they get set on what is, like, the popular understanding amongst the fan group. Like, believing the English version was a dub, despite how much, like, evidence there was screaming in their face that it wasn't. To the point of, like, discrediting the writing by saying it wasn't the same as the Chinese dubs, because in their mind the Chinese dubs, like, one of them was the original, you know? Yeah, and that was a problem. Like, they have a problem when it comes to, like, more meta stuff and not checking their server. So LMK Twit's issue comes down when it comes to analysis and where I would stop listening to them at this point, and I'm just so sick and tired of even trusting them on anything, is when they start talking about the more, like, background, where the show comes from, who said what is and isn't canon, you know? Because they don't have a healthy relationship with what they consider what happened in the show and how you look at what happened in the show versus what's going on outside. And they also will get an idea of what they think happened, like, is the case outside of the show, just like the case with thinking the English version was a dub, and judging it as such, which was unfair to the writing staff and the voice actors, but I've had my rant on that. And, like, they're super stubborn. And then when you prove them wrong, they get mad at you. Like me, I was so mean with my big Tumblr post, despite how generalized and despite my, I know you guys aren't being malicious, but this is why it's a problem. And those of you who are, like, actively saying, I know it's not a dub, but I'm calling it a dub anyways, you're part of a huge problem here. And people actually came at me and said, you're being really mean. And I'm like, just say, oop, my bad, and move on. Like, yeah, I was angry, but, like, just say, oop, my bad, and, like, but no, because they were the ones who were proven wrong on something, suddenly it became an issue of, like, how nicely it was presented. Because you see the way they talk to people on there, they are so freaking quick to jump to, like, freaking, to insults. They're so freaking quick to jump to petty and quick insults because that's just the nature of Twitter. That's not even just the Monkey Kid fandom, that's everyone on Twitter. And that's part of the problem, you know? So yeah. When I said that, like, I guess what I should say is I had higher hopes for the Monkey Kid fandom when it came to analysis, and I'm very disappointed in how, even outside of Twitter, even though the LMK twit is what spurred this, it was the straw that broke the camel's back, this video is more of for general internet consumption. This is not for the Monkey Kid fandom. Let me make that very clear. This video is not for the Monkey Kid fandom. I brought up Lindsay Ellis earlier because it's not a specific to my fandom's thing. This is something, like, me bringing up Lindsay Ellis was specifically to make the point that the entire internet is fucking wrong about Death of the Author, and I'm so sick of people of, like, that I respect, who I know better than this, spreading this shit as if it's divorcing the author when it's not. So that's what it is. Okay. I love hate canon talk. I mean, that's literally what we're here for, buddy. It's what Death of the Author's about. How far do you consider what canon? Okay, so yeah. Put that last bit that I read out loud on my goddamn tombstone. Okay. I freaking love it. As soon as a fact is narrated, no longer with a view to acting directly on reality, but intransitively, I hate that word. That is to say, finally outside of any function other than that of the very practice of the symbol itself. So, finally outside of any function other than that of the very practice of the symbol itself. So what it's saying, when something is narrated, as in, it's not just, what that sentence, like, bringing it down to what we're talking about. He's talking about when something becomes fiction, right? When something is released, it's out there, it's been narrated, past tense. That's an important part of this. When it has been narrated, when a piece of fiction has been narrated, so it does not exist in reality. We're not talking about what's happening in reality. So it's finally outside of any function other than that of the very practice of the symbol itself, right? So that's kind of a good clue there to the point that, like, we're not talking about what effect these stories and how they're written and how they're taken can have on reality. That's not what this essay is about. We're not talking about how if somebody... I'm trying to think of an example. I'm trying to think of a not problematic example, but not one specific to any of my fandoms, but something more general. And by problematic, I mean not controversial example. Crap baskets. So we're not talking about how, like, say, if person B is, like... God, I have an example, but I don't know the source well enough. F it. I'm bringing up the thing that actually set all this off. I'm bringing up the thing that set it off. All right, we're ready. We're ready for this, y'all. We're ready for this, y'all. We're not talking about the implication of not shipping yeah, and yes, it came back to shipping. It always fucking does. we're not talking about how not shipping a character that is in fanon considered to be genderqueer, therefore can be considered sapphic, you know, as in WLW in this ship. We're not talking about how somebody not shipping that could imply that they just hate lesbians, okay? That's not what this is about. That's not what Death of the Author is about, right? It's not about, well, if you think this, therefore this is how that can affect the reality, right? That's not what we're here for. Okay, that's a whole other fucking can of worms and a whole other, like, discussion to be had, and it's not the one we're having here, right? That's what it's saying. Like, we're talking about in the context, fully in the context of the story, aka of the symbol itself, right? This disconnection occurs, the voice loses its origin. As in, it does not matter where the voice came from. It doesn't belong to it anymore. The author enters into his own death, writing begins. And the reason I find that one line so fucking powerful, and I want that on my goddamn tombstone, right, is because that is art. When you put something out there like that, when you put art out there that you, as an artist, I put something out there that I put my soul into, and this is coming from somebody whose primary goal in creating art in a subconscious way is to be understood better by my friends and family who love me, right? And like just by anybody, actually, not just by friends and family, but just like by people I know. Like, coming from somebody who, like, that's why I get upset when I show something to a family member and they just kind of go, okay. That hurts me because I am trying to show you something that I can't explain in any other way other than my art, right? As somebody who has that, I feel like a big part of putting art out there publicly, right, for people who do not know you personally, aka publishing it in, like, freaking in a bookstore, right? Publishing a book, right? And putting it in stores everywhere, right? And putting it in the library, whatever. It does not matter who you are, because the person who picks that up 30 years from now does not know you and does not care. And that's the beauty of art. Because your story lives on and touches people that you yourself never can. And people are taking that away. And that's why Death of the Author is important. Because they're making it about the author. They're making it where you can't enjoy this story if you don't understand the author and their intentions and their life. That's the problem. That's why I keep preaching Death of the Author. Alright, writing begins. I fucking love that. The sense of this phenomenon, however, has varied. In ethnographic societies, the responsibility for a narrative is never assumed by a person, but by a mediator, shaman, or a realtor y'all know what I mean, whose performance, the mastery of the narrative code, may possibly be admired, but never his genius. The author is a modern figure, a product of our society insofar as, emerging from the Middle Ages, was English... Okay, remember when I said I have a bad memory, and also remember when, like I said, some of these words are gonna get lost on me, and that's just me, that's just how I roll. Words get lost on me, sorry, bruh. I'm looking this up. And also, hey, look! I came across a word that I'm not entirely sure on. Could I keep going and get context clues for it to kind of figure it out? Absolutely! But I have the world's information at my fingertips and I can just double check it. And this is an essay that I find important, that I understand every word in as its meaning. The theory that all knowledge is derived from sense experience. Stimulated by the rise of experimental science, it developed in the 17th and 18th centuries, blah, 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 blah. That all knowledge is derived from sense and experience. Okay. Yeah. So, blah, 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 blah. The author is a modern figure, a product of our society insofar as, emerging from the Middle Ages with English empiricism, French rationalism, and the personal faith of the Reformation, it discovered the prestige of the individual, of, as it is more nobly put, the human person. And the it's referring to is still the author, right? The author has like become he's making the point that as at the time that he wrote it, the author was a modern figure, as in it was a mostly, it wasn't always there. People didn't, like, storytellers didn't originally sit there and go, look how awesome I am and how genius I am, right? It was about how they were able to tell the story and the story itself. That's what he's getting across in that paragraph there, or in that little bit there, right? And he's giving, like, a bunch of, like, social sciences history and stuff about, like, I don't know if social sciences is the right word. It's probably fucking wrong. But anyways, he's giving a bit of a history of, like, the different things that happened that led to the author becoming, like, the center point of a story. And he's making the point here, I believe he's going to get into it more, of the author shouldn't be the center point, and that is not the default either. You know, it hasn't always been like that. The author didn't originate as the center point. The author was just the one telling the story. The story itself was the center point, and everything it stood for, and that was the center point. So, it is, where are we? We're down here. We're down here. Okay, just to make sure everyone knows. It is thus logical that in literature it should be this positivism. I should be able to say that word. I'm going to try that again. It is thus logical that in literature it should be this positivism. Yeah, that's right. The epitome and culmination of capitalist ideology, which has attached the greatest importance to the person of the author. So, yeah, he's saying, like, with everything else, like I said, he was listing off the history. He's like, with all of that existing, it makes sense why people started focusing more on the person of the author. The author still reigns in histories of literature, biographies of writers, interviews, magazines, and as in the very consciousness of men of letters, anxious to unite their person and their work through diaries and memoirs. He's really coming at people there. He's really saying, these motherfuckers really did write their story and published it and then go, ooh, look at me, look at me, look at me. That's what he's saying here. I'm paraphrasing what he's saying. I'm not saying it. But he's saying, like, that's like a freaking, that is such a, such a mean thing to do. He's like, look at these assholes. Look at all these people. He doesn't name anyone specifically, but I bet at the time people knew who he was talking about. Oh my god, I love this dude! I love it! Oh my god. So yeah, there he really is, if you didn't catch it. He's saying, like, people write their story, and then they went and, like, wrote their memoirs, where their claim to fame for why they're writing their memoir is the fact that they wrote that story. They're doing interviews about the stories. They're in magazines, and, you know, they are the important historical figure and not the story itself. And he's saying, I hate that. The image of literature to be found in ordinary culture is tyrannically centered on the author. He really called authors in this time period freaking tyrants. I love this dude. He's the best. He like me for real. He like me for real. God, I love him. Okay, I'm back to finishing this sentence. Sorry, it's been a while since I've gone over this, so I'm having my freak out moments all over again here, right? I hope I'm, like, still seeing the chat. It hasn't updated for me in a while, so I hope you guys are still there. I keep seeing some people coming and going, and viewers, making me a little on the nervous side about that. That there's certain things I'm doing that are wrong, but whatever. Like, if there's something I can do to make this more entertaining, or if you don't understand something, or if you want to, like, me to stop and expand further on something, or you just want to say, hey, Steffu, and get on with it, right? Like, yeah, like y'all can say that. I'm here. Okay, cool. Thank you, Daisy. I knew I could count on you, fam. Hold on, I got another friend to DM real quick. Hey, Doodlebat's here. What up? We're just listening in. Cool. I'm glad, because I'm adding a lot of my own, like, freaking commentary. And me being who I am, I'm gonna be asking y'all occasionally, like, hey, yo, are you guys, like, still there? Yeah, did I scare y'all off with my commentary? But no, homeboy really did just go and, like, say, yeah, homeboy really did just go and say, authors are tyrants. Hold on, I'm messaging a friend real fast. Hey, yo, I'm streaming on the analysis channel, reading and commentating on the death of the author essay. Homeboy just called authors, the authors of his time, tyrants. Just FYI, in you were interested. Okay. There we go. Okay, so, yes. Okay, let's see. Just got here. Definitely the most trouble when it comes to this topic is when you don't agree on some kind of well-known headcanon and being called out for being some kind of phobic. Yeah, that's exactly the thing that freaking spurred this. I know you saw, I saw you liking some of my Tumblr posts there. You know what was the straw that broke the camel's back. This was literally a long time coming, and I was hoping to have a more solid, like, actual essay video for this. But I'm just, like, this is it. This has had it. That was the straw that broke the camel's back. So, back to finishing that sentence that I can't seem to get through without, like, freaking hooting and hollering about how much I love Roland Bars and he liked me for real. The image of literature to be found in ordinary culture is tyrannically... I keep starting that word wrong. Tyrannically centered on the author, his person, his life, his taste, his passions, while criticism still consists for the most part in saying that people work in the failure of Baudelaire, the man, Van Gogh's his madness, Tchaikovsky, I know that guy and I can never say his goddamn name, his vice. The explanation of a work is always sought in the man or woman who produced it, as if it were always in the end, through the more or less transparent allegory of the fiction, the voice of a single person, the author confiding in us. I love how he puts quotes there. Like, he liked me for real. This is why I love him. He came in here, and he said, like, what he's saying there, what I'm pretty sure he's going to expand on here, let's focus on Van Gogh, because he's very famous, and we all know who Van Gogh is, and we all love him. When people talk about Van Gogh and think about Van Gogh, when they know about it, when they've actually studied his work, the first thing that comes to mind isn't really his work, and how his, like, yeah, the first thing that comes to mind is how sad his story is. And how he had all this beautiful art that he never got to see people appreciate. You know, and I think that's pretty shitty. Like, his art is so much more when you, like, open up to not letting it solely be about his, his art is so much more when you open up to it not being solely about his tragedy and his madness. And that's what they're saying here. Is that, like, art is suddenly no longer, unlike before, where it was about, like, it was about the story and the person's story, narrating it wasn't important. Now, it's about using the art to figure out the person behind it. Which, again, this is coming from somebody who does go to people with art of mine and is trying to say, hey, I can't put this feeling into words, I put it in my art. did that with some of my fan fiction. I still do that with some of my fan fiction. That's what makes it complicated, is that for any like family or friends who know what that story is all like actually about in the meta. But also, I'm not going to take away what other people get from it. Like, I don't want, like I had said earlier, the beauty of art is that I can draw something and post something, and 150 years from now, when I'm dead and gone, somebody can see it, and they can have an emotional response to it without knowing a goddamn thing about me. And that's beautiful. And this whole, like I've said it before, I'll say it again, this whole essay really highlights how crappy it is that when you make it about the author, you lose that kind of beauty of like how it can all like you lose the emotional response to art that makes art by doing that. By making it about the author and the artist. Okay, so moving on. I was very tempted for a second, that's why I paused. I was tempted to pull up the It's Art GIF from the Iron Giant, but nah. That would be too much work. I was gonna pull it up and like have it on standby, you know? Oh man. Okay, so. Alright, moving on. Though the sway of the author remains powerful, the new criticism has often done no more than consolidate it. It goes without saying that certain writers have long since attempted to loosen it. In France, fuck you. Sorry guys, that's my instinct when I'm reading something. Like, I have to read things aloud anyways, so I can make sure I'm processing it. That's what I do with short stories, it's what I do with essays, it's what I have to do. And like, when I come across a word that like, I can see it and visualize it as the word, but I can't freaking pronounce it, and that goes with a lot of names, I just go, fuck you. My apologies. In France, I'm gonna call him Ma. In France, Ma was doubtless the first to see and to foresee in its full extent the necessities to substitute language itself for the person who until then had been supposed to be its owner. For him, for us too, it is language which speaks, not the author. To write is, through a prerequisite impersonality, not at all to be confused with the castrating objectivity of the realist novelist, to reach that point where only language arts performs and not me. Whew. Sorry, y'all, I just, be still my heart. How can I go back to 1977 when this was written? Like, how old was he in 1970? How old was he when he wrote this? I actually don't know. Like, and before 1977 isn't the actual date it was written, but like, nah. Oh my god. No fucking way. No fucking way. Okay. Okay. So, we've had a slight miscalculation. This essay was written in 1967. I thought there was something funny, because I looked it up. Roland Barthes was born in 1915 and died in 1980. And so it was about to be like, oh yeah, he wrote this essay and then said, F this shit, I'm out. But like, no. So yeah, 1967 was when this essay was written. Alright. So he was like in his 50s, bruh. Nah. Anyways, be still my heart. That little sentence got me like, oh no, a twist! What a twist! No, but like, man, I really gotta read that again, and then I'll go into it a little deeper, but I really just have to read it again, that whole bit, because, whoo-hoo! Oh! Damn! For him, for us too, it is language which speaks, not the author. To write is, through a prerequisite impersonality, not at all to be confused with the castrating objectivity of the realist novelist. to reach that point where only language acts, performs, and not me. Can we... Okay, there's a lot to unpack there that I fucking love. Starting with, the castrating objectivity of the realist novelist. My dude really said F you and your... Oh my god, this is so real, guys. Like, I don't know what was being written at the time and what was considered realism at the time, but, that's me towards, like, the Game of Thrones stuff, and when I talk about how people make stories that are super dark for the sake of being dark when they really shouldn't. And, like, they're like, no, because it's more realistic to be dark, and I'm like, no, you're wrong, right? Oh, man. Like, the castrating objectivity of the realist novelist, I love that. Because he not only says, that's not what I'm talking about, but in his description of it, of what he's saying he's not talking about, he insults that thing. He's like, he basically just went, I ain't talking about those dumb bitches over there. We ain't talking about that. Like, I love this so much. This makes me happy. Yeah, it is language which speaks, not the author. To write, like, he's saying the whole art of writing is that the words are performing. That you're not, once you've written it and put it out there, you have no part in how somebody takes that story in anymore. They can read it in a library by a fountain. They can, it's everywhere, right? It's freaking beautiful. And he's right. It's beautiful. Because the thing that makes art beautiful is that it transcends humanity. Honestly, that's it. I know I said, like, there's a lot to unpack there, but it was really just, like, I'm really emotional about it. I love this essay, y'all. Okay, so Ma's entire poetics consists in suppressing the author in the interest of writing, which is, as will be seen, to restore the place of the reader. So he just said, like, yeah, home dude who's... Ma was the one who said all that. He said, Ma... God dang, freaking me working so hard to learn a bunch of words in a bunch of different languages all the time. Can't freaking say this French name. Okay. I don't know enough about French. That's the problem, because I don't know if the double L changes it and what that accent is. But yeah, he's saying that, like, he's saying this other French person here is making the point, he's being very poetic about it, and he's making the point that we have, like, in the interest of writing, we have to suppress the author. Because again, the way he was talking earlier about authors being freaking tyrants, which is beautiful, by the way. The way he was talking earlier about authors being tyrants is like, there was a lot of crap going down. There was a lot of crap going down in the world of literary criticism at the time of this, of people just seriously focusing so hard on who wrote the story instead of the story itself. To the point where this Ma person, like, Roland wasn't even the first person talking about it, you know, and bringing it up. And he's, like, quoting this other person, and also going, he's right. He's right, and it's in the interest of restoring the place of the reader. And the fact that he says restore the place of the reader is how you know he's saying that that's the side he's on. That's the positive. Restoration is a positive to him here. So, Valerie, encumbered by psychology of the ego, considerably diluted Ma's theory, but his taste for classism leading him to turn to the lessons of rhetoric, he never stopped calling into question and deriding the author. He stressed the linguistic and, as it were, hazardous nature of his activity, and throughout his prose works, he militated in favor of the essentially verbal condition of literature, in the face of which all recourse to the writer's I hate how these are words I know and I can't say them. The writer's interiority, that's Interi or Iti. Yeah, it seems right. Seemed to him pure superstition. Ooh, that was a lot. Hold on. He's calling out names now. This is when he starts, like, calling out a whole lot of, like, names of specific people. Encumbered by a psychology of the ego. Like, I can't help but feel like he's saying this person's too goddamn emotional here. I don't know. I don't know what he's saying there. Not emotional, but you know what I mean. Considerably diluted mass theory, but his taste for classes, like, I feel like that whole thing was him talking about some other context of, like, I'm assuming his opponent in this discussion at the time. Like, I feel like this is a freaking the farmer refuted type of moment here, you know? And so I'm not totally concerned with this because he's specifically referencing this bitch doesn't know what he's talking about, and let me tell you why, you know? And I'm, like, not worried about it because I don't know what that other person said, and that's what makes this difficult, because I don't know the full context of what Roland is talking about here. Like, he kind of brought it up, but it's, like, it's really difficult, and I'm just gonna move on from it, because I could go into super research mode, but that's what, like, the full video essay is gonna be. You know, that's what the full video essay is gonna be for, is researching more into what was happening with that fucker, you know? Alright. Proust himself, despite the apparently psychological character of what are called his analysis, why do I feel like that was being sarcastic? Was visibly concerned with the task of inexorably blurring by an extreme step. Why you people gotta be like that? I say as I'm one of these assholes who does this very fucking thing. It writes really long essays, calls out some individuals, doesn't call out others. This is literally what my Tumblr essays would look like if I, you know, had just a bit bigger vocabulary. Like, I'm already using the biggest words I know a lot of the time, and the most, like, walking around the park way of explaining things. Proust himself, despite the apparently psychological character of what are called his analysis, I really feel like he's being sassy there. I feel like he's saying, this person isn't doing real analysis, F him. Was visibly concerned with the task of inexorably blurring by an extreme subtlation the relation between the writer and his characters. Okay, so the writer and his characters. So this is an author. I wonder if this is an author who's specific. Like, there's a lot of stuff in here. Like I said, it's been a while since I read this essay, and the first couple times I read this essay, when I got into the stuff that was, like, calling out specific names of other people that I don't know, I kind of skipped over it. Like, I read it, and I kind of got the gist of what he was getting at, I think, with those bits. But this is where the full video essay, that this is all hopefully gonna, like, freaking aid me in writing finally. That's when it's all gonna, like, that's where I'm gonna go into. I'm gonna actually research all the stuff behind this so I can give a real proper full, because I don't feel good reading through this with you guys here on stream and just, like, I don't know who those people are. There's a lot of context I'm missing here, and I don't feel confident enough in context clues. You know, I don't feel confident enough in taking what little context he's given me here and what he's writing to really say his opinion on these people and what they're saying, even though it's like I read certain sentences and I'm like, that feels sassy, you know, that feels negative. So I'm probably just gonna, like, kind of just, I'm gonna have to call it on that for some of these parts where it's like, okay, that's context I have to research later. The relation between the writer and his characters. By making of the narrator not he who has seen and felt, nor even he who is writing, but he who is going to write, the young man in the novel. Oh, so I feel like he's talking about a story. I might have to look further into this. He's talking about some kind of story somewhere about an author. Like, somebody wrote a story about an author, which, like, wow, I haven't heard of that before. And he's breaking it down, those feelings of that. That's cool. The young man in the novel, but in fact, how old is he and who is he? Wants to write but cannot. The novel ends when writing at last becomes possible. Proust gave modern writing its epic. Alright. Alright, he might actually be praising that? I don't know. Let's keep reading. By a radical reversal, instead of putting his life into his novel, as is so often maintained, he made of his very life a work for which his own book was the model, so that it is clear to us that Charles did not imitate fuck you, but that fuck you is anecdotal historical reality. Yeah, this whole section here is very much so. This is right here. This is like a critique. This is a like actual literary critique on some novel that I haven't read. And so that's why I'm struggling so bad right here. I might have to find that. I might have to see how long it is and I might have to look into it. Yeah, this part here is a bit difficult for me here. Okay, yeah, this section's really hard for me. Sorry, I got a DM. I know y'all can't see the fucking thing, but I got a DM. I was looking at it. Yes, okay, y'all can see how upset I am about the fact that I can't really explain the full context of that. It's killing me inside. I keep saying I have to just move on, and I'm just like, but what if I try really hard? What if I just go quiet for a few seconds and I stare at it longer? Maybe I'll just magically get the context I'm missing. Okay, gotta move on. Proust gave blah 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 blah. Lastly, to go no further than this prehistory of modernity, surrealism, though unable to accord language a supreme place, I feel like I said accord wrong. Language being system and the aim of the movement being romantically a direct subversion of codes, itself moreover illusory. Yeah, a code cannot be destroyed, only played off. Contributed to the desacralization of the image of the author by... God, I love the use of capitalizing the word author. Whoa, there's Bat! Look at the non-binary gays! Bruh. No, please. Please. I mean, you can do that. I put a link to my Tumblr. If you look at the description, I even, like, freaking put a link in my Tumblr and said, hey, yo, you hit me up. Somebody's already done that earlier. Because Tumblr has the Anon feature, so I left that open. We're having fun. I am struggling to get through this section because I refuse to accept defeat, apparently. And so even though I've multiple times here have said, okay, this is a actual, like, he's taking a moment to, like, do a literary analysis, literary critique of this novel that I haven't read and don't know all the context for, and that he's assuming people who have, like, the way he's writing about it and including it in his essay, he's assuming people have read it, so I just kind of have to move on, and then when the actual full video essay comes out, you know, when I start writing for the full video essay, I should say, I need to, like, look into that and read that. And yet I keep staring at it and repeating the sentences and hoping I'll get it. But it's like, I don't have the context of that novel. So I really need to just move on. Yeah, lastly, to go no further than this prehistory of modernity, surrealism, though unable to accord language a supreme place. Language being blah, 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 I read that, contributed to this contributed to the desacralization of the image of the author by ceaselessly recommending the abrupt disappointment of expectations of meaning, the famous surrealist jolt, by entrusting the hand with the task of writing as quickly as possible what the head itself is unaware of, automatic writing. Oh my god. Guys, I'm losing it. I'm losing my freaking mind. Oh my god, that's discovery writing! Ah! There it is! Roland Barthes talking about it in 1967. Let's go! God, guys, why am I such a freaking... Why do I freaking read this essay the same way I read goddamn, like, One Piece or some shit, like, freaking out and, like, hitting my hand on the fucking desk and crap and, like, fangirling over this shit. It's a goddamn essay and I'm fangirling over it. Okay. By entrusting the hand with the task of writing as quickly as possible what the head itself is unaware of, automatic writing. By accepting the principle and the experience of several people writing together. God, yeah. Oh my god, that was stimming, wasn't it? I can't help it! I love it! I love it! He just freaking, like, okay, I had a situation where, at my first convention when I was 21, there was a comic artist who, like, wrote a webcomic I really liked when I was, like, in, middle and high school, right? And I tried to ask him about discovery writing, and he didn't seem to know the term, and so I tried to describe it, and I got really embarrassed because he was like, no, the characters aren't, like, real. They don't just jump up and take over the story. Like, they don't do anything that I don't write down, and it was, like, really embarrassing, because I was like, I know that, but it's, like, it's not literal, but it's, like, that's the feeling. And that was when I realized that dude doesn't have that, you know, and that's fine. Not everybody's a discovery writer. But this guy's actually bringing up a point that I used to bring up a lot when I would try to explain to the author to people, and I straight up forgot that it was actually in there, which is the idea of, like, people put things in their stories that they don't intend to put in there. There's no conscious decision of it. It happens. It happens all the time. Hold on. I just had somebody, like, just add everyone in a server, in, like, a more private server-ish, and I, like, put in there, like, and they're like, oh, anyone want a VC? I'm streaming. Come in here and learn something. We're talking about Death of the Author. But yeah, no, anyways, by accepting the principle and the experience of several people writing together, okay, moving on. Leaving aside literature itself, such distinctions really becoming invalid. Damn, I fucking love how fucking hardcore this dude is. Linguistics had, like, he's really, like, hard on his, like, no, we're not talking about that, or no, that doesn't matter, or don't come in here arguing semantics with me, I'll cut you. Authors are tyrants. Authors are tyrants. Full stop. God. Well, specifically, the authors of his time were tyrants, and he was calling them that. Like, I'm just saying this for people who came in a little later. He specifically was saying that about, like, the people who, like, after they published their story, ended up, like, writing memoirs about themselves, where the fact that they, like, the only reason anybody's interested in their memoir is because they wrote the story. So now the story is about them, not the story. It's about how they wrote the story. And the interviews and magazines and all this, and he was like, F you, you're tyrants. The way they tyrannically ruled whatever's. I'm probably gonna fucking put that as my status soon. I'm gonna find that sentence again. So, okay, back to reading. Okay. Maybe I can contain the stimmy stim. maybe I can contain myself. Maybe I'll just squeak, even though my voice is fucking shattered. Because I was doing this voice, like, for my mom, because she thought it was so funny. I was, like, making so many funny comments. We were, like, bitching about, like, adult stuff and, like, work and everything. And, like, I just kind of, like, said, I mean, why not just, why don't you just do this to me? It'd be so much easier. Why not go all the way if you're gonna screw me over? Like, saying stuff like that, I totally effed my voice. But anyways, Leaving aside literature itself, such distinctions really becoming invalid, linguistics has recently provided the destruction of the author with a valuable analytical tool by showing that the whole of the enunciation is an empty process. Hold up. I'm going to finish this sentence first. Functioning perfectly without there being any need for it to be filled with the person of the I almost said interloper. Freaking shoot me. I've been reading too much fanfic. Of the interlook. Okay, so first of all, I gotta double check the word enunciation there because I'm reading it and my Catholic ass is thinking the Annunciation of Mary. You know, the Annunciation? Like, but that's not what it's saying. Okay, say or pronounce clearly. Okay. Enunciate. Duh. Okay, that the whole of the Annunciation is an empty process, functioning perfectly without there being any need for it to be filled with the person of the... I think I know where this is going, but I'm going to double check the meaning of this word, because I don't have so much pride that, like, I don't double check the meaning of words when I'm not fully certain of them, and I'm trying to have an informed opinion. I just double check, because I'm awesome. A person who takes part in a dialogue or conversation. Okay, cool. So I was right on what that context was, what that meant. Okay, so let me reread that real fast to make sure I'm getting that right. Leaving aside literature itself, blah, 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 linguistics has recently provided the destruction of the author with a valuable analytical tool by showing that the whole of the enunciation is an empty process, functioning perfectly without there being any need for it to be filled with the person as a... Right. So basically, I think what he's saying there is that linguistics have realized that, like, at that point, linguistics had realized that people pronounce things differently in different areas, and that what matters is the meaning gets across, not so much how it was pronounced by the person who said it. I think that's what he's saying, but I'm not entirely positive, so let's finish this paragraph and we'll get through that. Linguistically, the author is never more than the instance writing, just as I is nothing other than the instance saying I. Oh, okay. Language knows a subject, not a person, and this subject, empty outside of the very enunciation which defines it, suffices to make language hold together. Suffices, that is to say, to exhaust it. So I was wrong. It's been a while since I read this essay, please. Go easy on me. Okay, so... God dang. So yeah, he's saying that, like, it doesn't... The language does not recognize I as an individual person. It recognizes the word I as just the word I. That's what he's saying there. The removal of the author, one could talk here with fuck you, of a veritable distancing, the author diminishing like a figurine at the far end of the literary stage, is not merely an historical FU. It's not merely a historical fact or an act of writing. It utterly transforms the modern text, or, which is the same thing, the text is henceforth made and read in such a way that all its levels the author is absent. The temporality is different. Okay, so basically what he's saying is that, like, when you're reading a book, when you are in the process of I got what he's getting at here. When you are in the process of reading the book, you are not concerned about who the author is as you are reading. So I think what he's about to get into here, I think he's about to use that as his argument like, you're not concerned about the author and what they're thinking and where they were at and what they were doing when they wrote the sentence that you're reading. Therefore, while you're reading the story, so therefore, why would you be so goddamn concerned about the author after the fact? Why would you be concerned about all that stuff about the author afterwards? I am, like, 99% sure that's what he's saying. And I'm here for it. I'm losing people. Why am I losing people? Did I piss people off with that? I don't understand how what I said just then could have pissed people off. Unless people are, like, hitting me up on, like, Tumblr and stuff. Or no one's hit me up there. Honestly, I'm probably gonna delete that latest post I had pretty soon. Not the link to the thing, but, like, the thing that I ranted and then I went, F it, I'm making this. Anyways, whatever. Who cares? The temporality is different. The author, when believed in, is always conceived of as the past of his own book. Book and author stand automatically on a single line, divided into a before and an after. The author is thought to nourish the book, which is to say that he exists before it, thinks, suffers, lives for it, is the same relation of fuck you. Antecedents to his work as a father to his child. In complete contrast, the modern scripter is born simultaneously with the text, is in no way equipped with a being preceding or exceeding the writing, is not the subject with the book as predicate. There is no other time than that of the Annunciation, and every text is eternally written here and now. I love that. Awesome, Daisy. I love that. God, I love that. That little... Every once in a while I hit a fucking sentence or a paragraph, or like a sentence or a few sentences, that just makes me lose my goddamn mind. Because that was beautiful. That was amazing. I love him. Love this dude. The author is thought to nourish the book. Yeah. The fact is, or it follows, that writing can no longer designate an operation of recording, notation, representation, depiction, as the classics would say. Ooh, that feels sassy. Rather, it designates exactly what linguists, referring to Oxford philosophy, call a performative, a rare verbal form exclusively given in the first person and in the present tense, in which the enunciation has no other content, contains no other proposition than the act by which it is uttered, something like the I declare of kings or the I sing of very ancient poets. Having buried the author, god dang, this dude brought out his shovel. Having buried the author, the modern scripter can thus no longer believe, as according to the pathetic view of his predecessors. God damn. Holy damn, y'all. Do y'all see that? I know I stopped in the middle of a sentence, and that's a great sin. But are y'all seeing what I'm seeing? Oh my god. Having buried the author, the modern scripter can thus no longer believe, as according to the pathetic view of his predecessors, that this hand is too slow for his thought or passion, and that consequently, making a law of necessity, he must emphasize this delay and indefinitely polish his form. For him, on the contrary, the hand, cut off from any voice, born by a pure gesture of inscription and not of expression, traces a field without origin, or which at least has no other origin than language itself. Language which ceaselessly calls into question all origins. Yeah, I know, for real. God, I am... Whoo! I've said it before, I'll say it again about this guy. Be still my heart. Whoo! Damn. He like me. He like me for real. Roland Barthes like me for real. And before it comes out that because of, like, you know, he was freaking born, like, this was written in 1967, so I don't doubt he had some problematic views, but we ain't worried about that, y'all, for real. This is too spicy. This is way too fucking spicy. He really said, according to the pathetic view of his predecessors. God damn. Okay. Oh, man. And he's like, cut off your hand. Or no, cut the hand off from any voice. Oh, God. We know now, like, I'm not even... Y'all see it. Y'all saw that. That was, like, clear as day what he was saying, man. I'm moving on. We know now that a text is not a line of words releasing a single theological meaning, the message of the author God. Oh my god, he really did that. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say nobody else who was involved in whatever back and forth essay writing shit fest this was that he totally won because nobody else got a whole fucking philosophy of writing, or a philosophy of literary critique named after their essay, and we're not studying that right now, so, like, failures. Anyways, he won. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say nobody else in this whole situation used the term author god. He's using it very tongue-in-cheek here. He's saying, y'all are calling your author the god, like, literally god. F off. We know now that a text is not a line of words releasing a single theological meaning, the message of the author god. Like, for real, that's such a good comparison. That is such a beautiful comparison to how people see it, though. Because it's like the idea of... Because theology specifically is the study of religion and faith. Like, theology is something I have to study quite often, or I have to look into quite often as a Catholic, because our shit is very complicated, and so I have to make sure I'm on top of understanding why I'm doing the things I do. Things like that. Because otherwise I'm just a sheep, and I refuse. I want to know why I'm doing the things I do, thank you. And then I still choose to do it, and people are like, what the fuck? And I'm like, haha, hi. But anyways, that's totally not here or there. But theology is specifically a religion-based thing, so... and he's putting quotes around it, which means he knows exactly what he's doing. And I love that. A single theological meaning, the message of the author God. And that is a good comparison, because the way people will look at stories and the way they look at art and instead focus so heavily on what the author or the artist's intention was is so much like how you look at a religious text and think about the intentions of the deity that text is supposed to be telling you how to worship, right? Which is valid for religion. But when we're talking about how we're looking at fictional stories and the intention and, like, the meaning behind the story, there shouldn't be a god figure. It should, like, I love that, but that's, like, how people treat it. Okay. We know now that a text is not a line of words releasing a single theological meaning, the message of the author God, but a multi-dimensional space in which a variety of writings, none of them original, blend and clash. Oh, I love him! Oh my god! He really did that! Holy shit, he really did that! It was right there, right after that parentheses, and I was so caught up in everything in the first half of that sentence. God dang, good thing I did pause and get stuck and go over that first half of that sentence so many times, because, oh my god, I needed to be prepared for that second half, and I still wasn't prepared. He just said, by the way, none of y'all are as original as you think you are. Shut up. Nothing is original. Shut up. You ain't special. God, I fucking love him. Because he's right. Whew. Oh, because he's talking about how everybody, when you're looking at literary criticism, you need to be, when you enter the world of literary criticism, and you start analyzing fiction, on a deeper level, you are bringing to the table all of your experiences of fiction you have taken in, and especially fiction you have criticized in the past with you. And by criticized, again, I don't mean negative. I mean, like, critical analysis, critical theory, you know? And so it's like, holy crap. Oh my god, I can feel myself, like, my heart beating, bro. That is, like, ridiculous. I got way too fucking excited there. I think I might have stemmed a little too much, maybe. He speaks the truth! I only speak the truth! Oh my god. He just threw that in there, none of them original. He's like, no, listen, guys. Everybody is bringing to the table things that they have taken in from everywhere else. Nothing is wholly original. That's the art of it. It's not a negative. That's how it is. You're not better for proving that you're more original. Please shut up with the interviews and the memoirs. Nobody gives a fuck. That's what he's saying here. The beauty of art is that, and the beauty of literary criticism is seeing how many different ways we can take this one piece of art. And the fact that we can take in and notice things that are taken and borrowed and mixed together and blending and clashing with other pieces of art into this one that we have experienced as the reader, right, is the beauty of it. That is what makes it art. And people are taking that away from writing their goddamn memoirs. That's what he's saying. And I love him. The text is a tissue of quotations drawn from the innumerable centuries of culture. Bam. That's it. I don't need to expand on that because I just did. Similar to fuck you and fuck you, those eternal copyists. Oh, what? At once sublime and comic, and whose profound ridiculousness indicates precisely the truth of writing. The writer can only imitate a gesture that is always anterior, never original. Oh my god, he's really going into detail about this. He's really going into the nobody's original shut the fuck up about this. I don't remember this part of the essay. Did I, like, not actually finish? No, I know I finished reading it, but it's been a long while since I actually sat down and read the whole thing. I've gone back and skimmed it a couple times or looked for specific paragraphs every once in a while. But, like... oh my god. And I gotta double check the, yeah, okay. I had to double check the meaning of the word anterior, but it's fine. My context clues did not fail me there. I'm good. His only power is to mix writings, to counter the ones with the others in such a way as never to rest on any one of them. That is the wording of it. Of when people say, well, as long as you bring your own touch to it, that's the wording for what people mean, including myself when I say that. Of like, well, how you do it, the execution is what the original. That's what it is. It's that you're mixing writings to counter the ones with the others in such a way as to never rest on any one of them. So it's like you have such a wonderful mix of things that you're pulling from, that you create your original quote-unquote stuff with. And you mix them in such a way that nobody can really pinpoint this is the one, which is what happens when you get things like my sister's first ever original story that she talks about often, that she wrote and that is not anywhere public, don't worry about it. Her first original story that she wrote when she was 13, she'll tell me, she'll go back and she'll look at it and go, yeah, there's Goku, there's Vegeta, there's Trunks, there's you know? And it's like, that happens, you know? My first story of, my first original story that I attempted, my first original character, Kairyu, was, very Naruto heavy. And it was very much so you could look at it and go, that's just Naruto. There's the Sasuke character, there's the, you know? And so that's what he's referring to when he says, that's what I'm pretty sure he's referring to when he says, you know, never rest on any one of them. So it's like, it's yeah, you're getting a mix, and you have to accept that you're getting a mix of different things from different places, and that's totally, that's what it is, that's what you're doing, and you need to accept that without going all in and just repeating another one. Oh, hi, Ryder. We're having fun. Roland Barthes has gone from calling authors tyrants to now telling people, you bitches ain't as original as you think you are. Now get over it. That's the beauty of it. So that's what you're missing. We're moving on. Yeah, the writer can only imitate a gesture. Blah, blah, blah. Did he wish to express himself? He ought at least to know that the inner thing he thinks to translate is itself only a ready-formed dictionary, its words only explainable through other words, and so on indefinitely. Something experience is exemplary fashioned by the young Thomas de... Fuck you. He who was so good at Greek that in order to translate absolutely modern ideas and images into the dead language, he had, so better to tell us, created for himself an unfailing dictionary, vastly more extensive and complex than those resulting from the ordinary patience of purely literary themes. Okay, that's a lot of stuff that's like, That's referencing some conversation that was apparently happening around the same time, or had happened recently, in the circle that this was the target audience for. So that's going to be something I'm going to have to look further into and research more myself. And I'm going to move on from that because I'm also not a linguist. So I can't really speak too much on that as I am right now. The video essay in the future will look into that. But as of right now, I'm too hyped on all this other shit, the truth bombs homeboy's been dropping. I'm moving on. Okay. Succeeding the author, the scripter no longer bears within him passions, humors, feelings, impressions, but rather this immense dictionary from which he draws a writing that can know no halt. Life never does more than imitate the book, and the book itself is only a tissue of signs and imitation that is lost, infinitely deferred. Ooh, I love that. That's really a sexy way of putting things, actually. That's actually really fucking cool, the way he did that. Yeah, I'm gonna let that speak for itself. That's too artistic for me to solely with breaking down an explanation. That's too much of an artsy way of explaining it. Okay. Once the author is removed, the claim to decipher a text becomes quite futile. To give a text an author is to impose a limit on that text. There it fucking is! Sorry for hitting my laptop, guys. I really hope that's not hurting y'all. I just got excited. I'm sorry. Once the author is removed, the claim to decipher a text becomes quite futile. To give a text an author is to impose a limit on that text, to furnish it with a final signified to close the writing. Such a conception suits criticism very well, the latter then allotting itself the important task of discovering the author, or its hypostasis, society, history, psyche, liberty, beneath the work. When the author has been found, the text is explained. Victory to the critic. Hence, there is no surprise in the fact that, historically, the reign of the author has also been that of the critic, nor again in the fact that criticism, be it new, is today undermined along with the author. So right there, he's saying in the context of the time period that he's writing this, that the critic and the critic choosing to work together with the author the way that they are at that time period was actually undermining both. I love this man so goddamn much. I don't care that he died in 1980. I love him. But Daddy, I love him! Little Mermaid. What? Have you lost your mind? He's a man who died in the 80s! You're a non-binary bitch in 2022! I don't care! Anyway, sorry. I'm kidding, by the way. This is all a joke. My brain went back to the Little Mermaid for some reason. I don't know why. God dang it. I'm sorry, guys. I have, my second screen is actually just my drawing tablet, and I don't have a way to, prop it up anywhere, so it's kind of in my lap and leaning against my desk. So those noises that you're hearing are probably it, because I'm fidgeting a lot. And my fidgets are actually in my purse way across the room, and we're almost done here, so I'm not going to go get them. Okay. Alright, where are we at? When the author has been found, the text is explained. Victory to the critic! Hence, there is no surprise in the fact that, okay, yeah, we read that part, undermined along with the author, and the multiplicity, words that I know I can say right, but I always struggle with saying right, and the multiplicity of writing. Everything is to be disentangled, nothing deciphered. Oh my god, y'all, damn. I like that. In the multiplicity of writing, everything is to be disentangled, nothing deciphered. He's like, you can... Oh, God, that's so beautiful. That's such a beautiful way of putting it. That's nice. The structure can be followed, run, like the thread of a stocking, at every point and at every level. But there is nothing beneath. The space of writing is to be ranged over, not pierced. Writing ceaselessly meaning ceaselessly, to evaporate it, carrying out a systematic exemption of meaning. In precisely this way, literature, it would be better from now on to say writing, by refusing to assign a secret, an ultimate meaning to the text and to the world as text, liberates what may be called an anti-theological activity, an activity that is truly revolutionary, since to refuse to fix meaning is, in the end, to refuse God and his hypostasis, reason, science, law. Oh my Lord have mercy. To follow death of the author is to fight God himself. I hope people who are in this chat right now, who are watching this right now, I hope you guys are seeing that what I mean when I'm like, I'm not kidding, I freaking live by this, I bring it up all the time for a reason, I'm obsessed with this essay. Like, I hope you guys are really seeing now that it's like, it's not just me being like, ew, no, you didn't agree with my headcanon, or, oh no, you proved my headcanon can't be true, and because the author had an interview saying otherwise. Like, that's not what this is. I genuinely am all over everything up to this point. We're gonna keep reading, and I'm gonna hope nothing, like, you know, everything that I've understood, which is like the stuff that, like, there's context for that I'm missing of other people, other essayists at the time, other writers, other authors, other stories that he references in here that I'm gonna have to look into. But other than those things, like, everything else, I'm just like, oh, be still my heart. This shit is just like on point with me. To follow death of the authors, to fight God himself, like, for real. Be better from now on to say writing by refusing this. Yeah. Let us come back to the Balzac sentence. I know that's gotta be French, but, like, I don't know how to pronounce it. No one, no person says it. Yeah, that's the thing we read at the very beginning, which I will come back to. This is the last page, so I'm gonna go back up to the top to see what he's talking about, because he doesn't repeat it here. This was in a novel about a castrato disguised as a woman. This was woman herself, with her sudden fears, her irrational whims, her instinctive worries, her impetuous boldness, her fussings, and her delicious sensibility. Right? Castrato meaning a guy a male singer who, like, cis-born male singer who was castrated so that he could keep his boy voice, and he didn't go through puberty and his voice didn't drop, right? That's what a castrato is. So that's that context for that. So back here, let us come back to the Balzac sentence. No one, no person says it. Its source, its voice, is not the true place of the writing, which is reading. Ooh, the true place of the writing is reading. Another very precise example will help to make this clear. Recent research, ooh, he just straight up put a god. Okay, how come this essay is one of the most famous? Hold on, I'm gonna go on this rant. How come this essay is one of the most famous essays, like, in the world, right? And it has one source. One. It's got one source. And I had to go through school on my senior project. I had to have 14 sources for my essay, for my senior project. Fake and gay. Anyways. And I was required to use at least 7. I had to find 14 sources. I had to put information down from those sources of something I wanted to use from them. And then and then I had to use at least 7. Like, I didn't even have to use all of them. Stupid. But 7 was still a stupid number. Anyways, I can go on and on about how it's like, because the purpose was to make sure you got multiple viewpoints and you got multiple understandings and you weren't going to one source to just repeat what they said. But, like, I'm being sassy. Okay. Recent research, blah, 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 has demonstrated the constitutively, y'all can read, y'all know what that is, ambiguous nature of Greek tragedy, its text being woven from words with double meanings that each character understands unilaterally. This perpetual misunderstanding is exactly the tragic. Wait, hold on. I spaced out while reading that out loud. My bad. Has demonstrated the ambiguous nature of Greek tragedy, its text being woven from words with double meanings that each character understands unilaterally. This perpetual misunderstanding is exactly the tragic. Okay, yeah, I got it now. There is, however, someone who understands each word in its duplicity and who, in addition, hears the very deafness of the character speaking in front of him. This someone being precisely the reader, or here, the listener. Thus is revealed the total existence of writing. A text is made of multiple writings, drawn from many cultures and entering into mutual relations of dialogue, parody, contestation. Damn it, I can't say that goddamn word. But there is one place where this multiplicity is focused, and that place is the reader, not, as was hitherto said, the author. The reader is the space on which all the vocations, y'all help me, Lord. I'm glad we're almost done with this. I'm stumbling all over. The reader is the space on which all the quotations that make up a writing are inscribed without any of them being lost. God, I love it so much. God. The reader is the space on which all the quotations that make up a writing are inscribed without any of them being lost. A text's unity lies not in its origin, but in its destination. Yet this destination cannot any longer be personal. The reader is without history, biography, psychology. He is simply that someone who holds together in a single field all the traces by which the written text is constituted. Which is why it is derisory, fuck that word, to condemn the new writing in the name of a humanism hypocritically turned champion of the reader's rights. Referring to authors here, referring to the bitches he's complaining about specifically. In the name of a humanism hypocritically turned champion of the reader's rights. This dude was dead-ass out for blood! Okay, classic criticism has never paid any attention to the reader. For it, the writer is the only person in literature. We are now beginning to let ourselves be fooled no longer by the arrogant, antiphrastical, god dang it, recommendations of good society in favor of the very thing it sets aside, ignores, smothers, or destroys. We know that to give writing its future, it is necessary to overthrow the myth. The birth of the reader must be at the cost of the death of the author. And see, when you look up the death of the author, Roland Barthes or whatever, like, you get that one quote all the time. And I forgot that it literally is how he ends it, and it's so powerful. Because that's it. That's the essay. The birth of the reader must be at the cost of the death of the author. I'm so excited about that. Like, I love so much about that whole essay. And, you know, my Tumblr's down there if you want to send me an ask on Anonymous. My Anonymous stays on, unless bitches are gonna be bitches. Like, I'm not afraid to turn it off if I need to, right? If I start getting a bunch of Anon-hate, I'll straight up just turn it off. But Anonymous is on, because I enjoy it. You know, I do publish Anonymous asks, because it's the only way to respond to them. On Tumblr, if it's anonymous, I can respond privately if you send it to me, but it can't. I can respond to asks privately, but not if they're anonymous. The point of me pointing out the Tumblr is the anonymous. And it's open right now, and you can go look at it and open it if you're here and you want to tell me or say something, but you don't want to, like, you know, be super, like, or you don't want your name attached to it, right? Which is super valid. So that's there. Gonna take a couple seconds. I'm probably gonna, like, chill out, pretty soon, now that we got through that. But I'm down to continue discussion about it. Because right now, I just kind of, like, I'm trying to get situated here. Right now, I'm just kind of like, whew, you know, that's like emotional crap, man. For me, at least, it is. Like, I get really into it because I care a lot about art, and I care a lot about the importance of art, and yeah, I care. Yeah, I really do. I really do care a lot about Death of the Author and everything it stands for. And I really like to really hammer this point home. Yeah, he talks shit on a lot of authors here, but he's not saying these ones in particular because I don't like them, I'm gonna pretend they didn't write the story. That's not what he's saying. He's saying that to fully understand and fully accept art for what it is, and to be able to really come in on literary criticism, you have to stop focusing so hard on who the author is and what the author's intentions were, because that is so limiting to have that kind of finality behind it. He's opening it up. What I tell people is that, like, what I really love from the Brandon Sanderson video, which I'll probably link on my Tumblr and on my Twitter after this, what I really love about the Brandon Sanderson video is that there are things in it. There are points, because he says, like, here's point, like, he gives points where he agrees with, like, yeah, that's where Death of the Author would be necessary or would be good, and here's where it's not. And there are some points where I'm kind of, like, on the fence with him, either way, but there are also points where I'm with him that, like, nah, that's not really, nah, the author's intention there kind of matters, you know, for that. But here's the kicker, is that all of the moments where I said that come back to one thing. What gives the better and more full experience to the reader? So it's still about the reader. Like, if the reader's experience is enhanced by knowing more about, like, or by the author saying something, like me, like I'm bringing it back to Monkey Kid because I can't freaking help myself right now. That's my hyperfixation. Red sent going by any pronouns on a freaking storyboard artist, like, Pokemon Trainer ID card that they made for fun, right? I love that, and I took that, and I ran with that, and started headcanoning our boy as agender, right? And started writing stories about it, and even, like, started drawing a little bit of art focused on it, right? Of him being like, I do not care, I really do not care, you know? And it's beautiful, and I love it. And that's the thing of, like, if I was like, no, I refuse to look at anything the authors or artists say. If they say something about the characters, I don't care. If I don't see it in canon, it's wrong. Like, I wouldn't be able to have that headcanon. And I wouldn't be able to, like, and there are times where, I know I've explained to people stuff about what makes it complicated. And I feel like, with how things are going with that story that I'm writing, my story, right, that I wrote for personal reasons, that I'm putting out there in the public, I'm starting to notice that there's gonna be people who see, like, my main character in there as the bad guy, when I want him, the point I'm trying to make is that he's sympathetic, you know? But the thing is, I'm gonna have to be okay with that, because I'm not gonna come in and tell people, like, I'll tell friends and I'll tell close people, and I have already, that, like, hey, this is why I'm so defensive of this character in this story. You know, they're supposed to be me in this really complicated situation I was in, right? But, like, that's not me trying to say I'm gonna publish it and be mad, like, genuinely. I'll say it, but I don't mean it. About, like, genuinely being mad about, like, it's the thing of, like, I'm not expecting every person who finds that story on AO3 to know all like the deep personal background shit with me about why it is what it is. Thank you for the fox emoji, you know? Because I believe in death of the author. People will get out of it what they get out of it as it stands. And if they know, if there are people out there who select people know, Bat's one of them, and here in the chat, where it's from, and that enhances their experience of the story, that's good. And I'm okay with that. But it's when people use the words and the, like, freaking biographies and the memoirs and stuff of authors to limit their, like, their experience. That's when I say that's not right. That's when I say death of the author. Is when people are, like, saying, well, this Toriyama said that Goku is selfish. He didn't, by the way. He literally never said those words. People just fucking... Dragon Ball fandom's just stupid. Anyways, I've asked multiple times for people to send me the goddamn interview where he said Goku is selfish and was always, like, Goku is a selfish character, full stop. And it's like, they can't. They give me things that are like, well, all kinds of other wording that they interpreted, so it's like their interpretation of an interview is canon somehow. And I'm like, buddy, you're not even using just what was written, you're interpreting the interview and telling me I have to take your interpretation of a goddamn interview as canon. Where am I? You know? But anyways, oh god, what was I getting at? Yeah, the idea of, like, their take, by telling me that I have to see Goku as a selfish character and I'm not allowed to see him as somebody who is just trying his best and has a bit of a more simple outlook on life and is a bit more, like, inwardly focused, I guess is the way to put it. I don't call that selfish. It's just, you know, it's hard to explain. But it's like, I get more out of Dragon Ball when I don't look at Goku as some meathead who likes to punch things and causes problems on purpose or, like, just causes problems because he's a selfish idiot. Like, when people, I don't understand how people can enjoy Dragon Ball if that's how they see Goku. Like, I used to say that all the time, and I say that now still. I genuinely do not understand how, when that's how they see Goku, they can enjoy Dragon Ball, right? And that's what I'm saying, is that, like, trying to force me... No, it's hilarious! Because the interviews that they send me where they say Toriyama said Goku is selfish are, like, actually, like, the big one that they send is one where he says, I feel like Toriyama was saying, I feel like I feel a little disappointed in the anime because I feel like they forgot some of the poison that was in his character. And people turn that and send that to me and say, here's where Toriyama said Goku was a selfish character. And I'm like, are you fucking for real? I'm like, excuse me? That's not what that says? There's also people say that, like, Toriyama hated Chi-Chi, and it's like, because he made a tongue-in-cheek comment in one interview where he said, oh, I really hated drawing her. I had a hard time. Like, she was a difficult character for him to draw, and so he, like, wanted to, quote-unquote, punish himself by marrying her to Goku so that he would have to draw her, which, like, honestly, what a goddamn mood as an artist to go, I struggle so hard with drawing this character and, like, just avoid drawing them, and then just go, no, fuck you. You're gonna learn how to draw this character and you're gonna draw them all the time. Marry my main character. Like, what an artist thing to do. But people took that to say that he hated her character, and I'm like, if he hated her character so much, why would he put her in the story more? Like, people are dumb in the Dragon Ball fandom. They're really dumb. They interpret the interviews however they feel like it, and then they get mad when people don't get that out of the characters in canon. Like, that's why the death of the author argument is so important in the Dragon Ball fandom specifically, is because they need it. Because they have gotten to a point of analyzing the authors. They're gotten to the point where they're analyzing Toriyama and taking his word, like, more than they're actually just fucking watching the show. You know? More than reading the goddamn manga themselves, they're reading Toriyama interviews. And that's why I say Death of the Author is important. That this essay is literally for that exact issue of this guy at the beginning, as you saw, Daisy, or heard, or whatever, like, saying that his issue is people were more focused on the authors themselves because they liked their story and talking to the authors about their stories. They got so focused on talking to the authors about their stories that they forgot to just read the goddamn stories! You know? And that's why I'm like, no, this essay is like freaking. I got an inside joke. Y'all aren't gonna get this. Why this is funny to me. Retroactively, like this essay was retroactively written for the Dragon Ball fandom. Thank you. By the way, that's not how you use the word retroactively, and I know that. That's the joke. And if you don't know, you don't know. Don't worry about it. God, but it's like that's the thing. You all read the essay. Y'all see how, and I am open to people disagreeing with Roland bars. Like I am open with people disagreeing with this concept. What I'm not open to is people telling me, like people who don't actually understand Death of the Author, trying to argue against it without having read and understood what Death of the Author actually is about, what the essay is actually about, what the whole philosophy is actually about. Like people arguing with you about a philosophy you hold in literary criticism, and it's like they're arguing like a freaking boogeyman, you know? They think Death of the Author, they genuinely believe Death of the Author is disrespectful, and it's like, no, it's this essay is disrespectful to some specific people that I think he had a lot of bones to pick. I'll give you that, but I'm not gonna say whether or not it was deserved. Maybe it was, maybe it wasn't, but he's obviously bitching about specific people. And you can say the way he worded this shit was disrespectful. But me saying I subscribe to Death of the Author, I don't care what an interview from the author says. That's not going to change how I view the story in the canon of the story. Is not disrespectful. It's not. That's how art works. That's the nature of literary criticism, and it's been like that for a really goddamn long time. And the fact that people just think it's just inherently disrespectful to say that, like, no, I don't really accept what that author said there as, you know, my interpretation of the story, or in, you know, like, and again, all cards on the table. He is specifically talking about a big issue of people focusing like 90% of their energy on dissecting authors. Alright? And that's way more of an extreme than just people, whether or not people take interviews and run with them as canon in a story. You know? But they're connected. Right? It's the idea of like what the author said after the fact, like, and he talks about it in the essay about the idea of like literally the birth of the reader must be at the cost of the death of the author, and like the idea of being don't, it's art. This whole essay really pushes the concept of this is art we are talking about. Stop freaking putting so much like focus on the artist when art is supposed to be an individual's experience with it. And it can be hard as an artist, and especially as one, like I've said before earlier on the stream, one like me who uses my writing and my art to express myself. I do that, yes, and I understand. Hi, Doodle. We finished the essay. We finished reading it. But yeah, like, and like again, as somebody who genuinely does that, I get it. Okay, I use my art to express myself, and there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying artists who do that are bad. I'm not saying artists and authors who want people to recognize that they're expressing themselves in their work are bad. I'm saying trying to limit everyone's experiences with something based on what the artist said about it, and like to the point where the artist is more important than the art itself, that's where it becomes a problem. That right there. You don't have to completely cut the artist out. And I know that's what Death of the Author is, but or the term is, and I know what this whole essay, he liked me for real. He was talking in an extreme here for the sake to get his goddamn point across, which he was right. Especially about the whole, you ain't special, sweetheart, nothing's original, everything you did is like from 5 different other places, at least all mushed together. You know, like he had a whole section on that, and that's beautiful. And he's like, and that's the point. That's not a negative. He's like, it's not a negative to say, like, be like the freaking pink sauce lady and be like, you ain't special, you know? And it's like, well, she was a bitch when she said that, but like, sorry, I shouldn't say that because I don't know her personally. But like, that was kind of a catty thing to say. It was inappropriate. But anyways, that's where I'm gonna end that statement. That's where I stand on that. But anyways, like that idea of like you ain't special, you know. But the reason he brought that up was because it's like we can recognize that nothing's wholly original, right? Everything you get from all kinds of experiences, from art that you've liked, from stories you've liked, and from your real life. And that comes to the point of what you put automatic writing. Reading that in the paragraphs of automatic writing, it just... it's amazing. Absolutely beautiful. Y'all, I did not get very good sleep last night, and I had to wake up I woke up at like 5 a.m. and it's 11 p.m. for me. How y'all doing? I am like running out here. I'm probably gonna end the stream because we got through the essay, and I've got a video essay to write up a script for on all this. I've got research to do for this. This is for those of y'all, Daisy, I know, who've been here for a while. I think Bat and Doodle, I think you saw some points of it happening. There are some points in here where he's referencing stuff that was going on in some conversations and authors and other essayists and stuff that were going on around the time that he wrote this. That I don't know. So I have to do some research. I gotta do some work. Hey everyone, I need to check my stream lag with my chat. Can you type in as fast as you can the answer to this question? 2 plus 2. Just type it in and hit enter as fast as you can. Like 2 plus 2, go. Oh my god dang diddly god. Like, if I move over to this other tab that has it, is it like closer to live here? Holy crap. That is a lag. That was over 10 seconds. I hate it here. I actually hate it here. Why do I keep doing that voice? It actually broke my voice. Holy crap, you guys. This is the worst timeline. Oh my god. Like me saying, oh my god, that's when the first 4 answer came in. All of that silence that y'all are all probably listening to as I'm talking about the silence, but it's like, now you're hearing this is weird. That's, oh my god, that was me waiting for y'all to respond. Yeah, I think that's a sign. YouTube sucks. I'm tempted to, like, I have a Twitch. It has, like, my other username on it right now, but I have a Twitch, and so I'm tempted to, like, move over there and start doing live streams, especially ones with conversation like this, over to there, because they don't force a chat lag that you can't control. Like, do you want an additional lag? Me. No. Additional lag time for your stream. 0. The stream. YouTube. Alright, you said 10 seconds? Okay, bet. God, that's so bad. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go, because I'm gonna have to go unwind, and I have to protect my voice, because I do have to sing tomorrow, unfortunately, and I've really broken it. And I keep making it worse, because I keep going back into my, like, sassy voice, but I had so much fun doing this earlier. Oh, man. But yeah, anybody else have anything they wish to add? Oh, I got another ask. I love getting an anonymous ask, like talking about, oh, your recent posts and all that about like Death of the Author talk, and like I just realized people don't know what code it is. Really nice really nice like ask I got that I'll probably respond with. And then at the very bottom, oh, and what did you think of the most recent Dragon Ball movie? Homie, if you're in this call, dead ass, I forgot it happened. I haven't watched it. I dead ass forgot it happened. I'm not interested in the animation of it. Modern Dragon Ball's been hurting me too bad. So I'm just kind of like, So I just kind of forgot it happened. I apologize if you're listening. I'll give that ask like a real answer after I sleep on it. Because I'm salty. By the way, if anyone here has a Tumblr, has a spare $8, you should do the thing of like giving me the check marks. I want check marks. A friend of mine has like 4, and that's not fair because they have like 100 followers. Oh man. I just. Yeah, I think there's a way to gift them. I think they do absolutely fuck all nothing. That's the beauty of it. They are made like Steph made these check marks specifically. Like the Tumblr staff made these check marks specifically to have an announcement saying, "Hey, oh gosh, yeah, specifically to have an announcement saying, hey, get the I'm important on the internet blue check mark for Tumblr. It is $7.99. Which is cheaper than some other social media websites. No, this is not a form of verification. It's just to show people that you are a very important person. But you can stack them. So like you can pay the $7.99 for the one check mark, and then you can keep paying for another one, and then another one. I just saw a user who like saw a post that said it maxed out on 24, and so they bought fucking 24 of them, and then it didn't. They actually went beyond that to like 25 or 26 or 27, and it's it's beautiful. The way to make this is wonderful because I think Tumblr staff has figured out a way to make money, which is shitpost. It's the Tumblr, like, are we fucking wrong? The Tumblr user base is absolutely here for paying for shitposts. That's what we want on this hell site. That's why we call it a hell site. Just own up, Tumblr. If you want to make money, make us pay to like do extra shitposts.
Careful with what I just said there, though, because if you do it too much and you actually make us pay, like if we want to post you, we have to pay for it. Like, no. But you know, Tumblr Blaze was doing pretty well. I'm pretty sure. People are posting it. People are using it. Oh, not even to buy me, not even to buy little old me a check mark. I want one. I want 7. Oh man. All right, winding down. I'm going to Betty Bye. People who have my DMs and the Tumblr, or I got the links to my socials, including the Discord, in the description down there. I'm probably gonna keep this one like public. Actually, I am gonna keep this stream public. So yeah, for once, I'm actually, oh my god, a Keda stream that stays public. It's like a 2.5-hour stream. Holy crap. I'm gonna do that. So yeah, bye everyone. I'm gonna head out now. So bye-byes. Goodbyes. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, y'all. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.